Greetings of peace and paradise, family. Welcome to We Soar Above. We're going to get to do a dive a little deeper into basically what we've discussed a little bit more in terms of after taking out the bad, what do we need to do to put into your system to actually give you the good? So, Restore is one of the products, as well as the CBD product, that we're suggesting as things to actually take in your system to actually put in the good. So, Chip, can you give us a little insight as to a little bit more? We know that, of course, minerals are things that your body desperately needs. There was a time that people would get it in their water and they would get it in their salt and they would get it through other means. But nowadays, your food is not a main source of getting your minerals. So, with that said, what has been your experience with the 93 trace minerals? And since we know that most diseases are based in a lack of minerals, what are your thoughts about the Restore product we have?
Okay, sure. I want to enjoy a conversation with my friend Sister Grace as we're doing this, and she knows stuff about deep sea plankton, which is the source. A couple things maybe that we've just talked about today. Would you say a little something about deep sea plankton, Sister Grace?
Well, deep sea plankton, I think it's the choice element for the product because it is, as you said, it's deep sea. So there's less chance for it for the contaminants that's in the upper part of the ocean to get there. So it makes it a better, ingredient versus something closer, to populated areas.
For sure, and it also comes from a long time ago when things were probably cleaner. But on our current events, I always like to have a little bit of fun that maybe people don't know, kind of like it's a magazine.
Okay.
All a place where that was recently found that nobody probably knows about except you and me.
Space. Deep space on the um, International Space Station.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Who would think? I mean, this is a big surprise to, I'm sure, both of us, that it would be found when they were cleaning the windows
Hmm.
on the International Space Station, and they found living deep sea plankton up there. So obviously, they're almost like Superman, right?
Hmm.
We want to be more like them.
Yes.
So we need a broad spectrum of the broad spectrum of all the minerals, and this is really looking for the things that we maybe need parts per billion or parts per million of. A real cool example, because who we're on with today, um, Sister Aziz talks to me a lot about the challenge of people that have trouble with sugar metabolism.
Hmm.
And we know that the Daily Detox Plus helps to keep sugar moving in the body so it doesn't get stuck somewhere. But it's interesting that there are two minerals in Restore, chromium and vanadium, that act like or facilitate the function of insulin, which is the hormone that moves sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cells.
Hmm.
A cool little study that I ran into one time was in bodybuilders, and they were looking into using it to help them get better metabolism.
Hmm.
And they had a study of mice with their pancreas removed that were able to live in the presence of vanadium. So that micronutrient was capable of moving sugar um, even without any insulin from the pancreas being made. So that's a cool little detail. And you could
Yeah.
just go through all 92 minerals and come up with something like that and have the most fun, right?
Right. And while you were talking, the thought that came to my head was people with type 1 diabetes. So is it a case where they just are absent of those minerals, which is why, the insulin is not being produced in their bodies?
Well, that's a great question. Type 1, you are insulin dependent, and you're basically in the situation those mice were.
Mhm.
And to have full function in something as big as a human, I think you still have to count on, receiving insulin probably for your whole life. But certainly having all of the minerals are going to allow you to function better no matter where you're getting insulin, whether you're making it yourself or receiving it, from a pharmaceutical source. One of the things that is right here on this call with us is the experience of Sister Aziz, who, oftentimes that happens when you're pregnant. And then all of a sudden you have a baby and a problem to go with it, which is sugar problems.
Mhm.
And she and I got to thinking about it, over the last, just a couple of weeks and talking like we're talking here. And we knew that she was benefiting, and we probably ought to ask her to tell the story, from the daily detox, and got to thinking, okay, if what we just talked about is true, then she should do even better with Restore.
Mhm.
Well, actually, from the very beginning, I actually was doing both Daily Detox Plus and Restore. And what I did was did it every 3 hours. And so during the course of a weekend, I actually dropped 150 points. And just to give a sense, my sugars normally are okay. It's after pretty much having a lot of pregnancies back to back to back that I became gestationally diabetic. And then after a certain point, my own system was kind of just overloaded. But one of my friends who is in medical school, we were talking and we kind of had come to the conclusion that since my sugars go up when I don't eat, that it had to be a connection to toxicity. So after realizing that I was already pregnant, it was kind of like, oops, too late to detox. But the joke is that if I had had this Daily Detox Plus and Restore regimen prior, while I was actually pregnant, I probably could have curved that entire syndrome because it's really pulling out the trash and then putting back in the good with the Restore. I actually was taking things like chromium and other minerals, right, individually. But within Restore, we're literally putting them all in, and it's in a natural, synergistic way. So it's been pretty cool, even for my hydration, even for my breastfeeding. I mean, I can't begin to speak of just how transformational it was. And I don't take the V plus anymore because I'm breastfeeding and there's a concern about the white willow bark. But it completely just doing those three things, the Daily Detox Plus, the Restore, and the V plus, it transformed me back to kind of feeling like me again. Because up till that point, I was in bed every day, no later than like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is ridiculous considering, I'm used to at least making it till 9 o'clock. But now I'm up regularly till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I'm still getting up at 3:34 in the morning. So it's been hugely transformative.
That's a super important story. I mean,
Right.
there has to be somebody else that's going to hear this that thinks of somebody. That's how it moves forward.
Sure.
So awesome. Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you. The other key product that has been the ladder of the products for me has been the CBD. The CBD oil, the Dream, the gummies. I laugh at the gummies. The gummies are so addictive. I think I took about 4 the first day I had it because I was like, oh, this is really good. I feel really good. And then the Relieve cream I actually used directly on my scar. And my C-section scar had hurt every day, all day from the time I had the baby. And literally, as soon as I rubbed it in within a couple of seconds, it immediately stopped hurting. It was almost like I felt like I had placed a numbing agent on there. And I know I hadn't placed the numbing agent. And no more pain. So that's been huge. And then looking at the difference inside out, I can see, and a lot of people have been mentioning, like, whoa, what are you doing? Because a lot of my normal swelling that I had it went away really quickly. And so I noticed the more I'm doing of the synergy of our whole line, the more results I'm getting so much quicker.
And you
Just
just
thinking
mentioned,
one explanation of that, one of the benefits of using CBD oil is that it relieves cramping. And it could be that because of the injury that area was constantly pulling and trying to find a place to get comfortable. And when you were able to ease that, and you should be able to find that in many other examples of cramping as well. And the products across the board, especially Daily Detox, are beneficial over time for scarring. You know, old tissues that almost maybe felt like wood around a scar, you'll find will become much more normal and pliable and comfortable.
Yeah. We were
So that's
talking
kind of
to,
neat.
yeah, we were talking with Neil, and he was saying that he had he did back surgery, and by using the relief cream, he was able to his scar disappeared.
Yeah.
You know, and I was thinking, my daughter, okay, she did the scoliosis surgery, and that's one of her pet peeves. You know, that she has this line down her back. You know, so it's like,
It should disappear as much as possible. I'm always showing it examples, but and I won't show you this one, but I was hurt in a volleyball accident many years ago. We were going to a tournament in a blizzard, and a brand new Ford van came in the door I was in a little car, and I got trapped in the wreck, and this ankle was just a mess. Casted from one end to the other, all screwed back together, and scar is basically on a orthopedic injury like that is kind of like your body trying to form a cast around it, and it
mhm,
was inflexible and almost felt like wood, and now, if you didn't see just the little hairline going down both sides of that, after these years of using it, you and it works great. It doesn't hurt all the time. For many years, every step hurt,
mhm.
and so that gives hopefully somebody listening to this call something to look forward to. That scarring and those tissues and that woodenness and those old joint injuries can begin to improve again, and you'll have like a brand new skeleton.
Okay. How does the CBD, how would you say the CBD helps with inflammation and the relationship to the endocannabinoid system?
Actually, you might know more about that than me. I'm a uh, I've now learned the word endocannabinoid, and I know that we have an endocannabinoid system. It wasn't something that I had dug into very much before, because my whole life I've been opposed to anything that had that kind of stuff in it. But these, I've been convinced that this is selected from plants that grow the good side and not the psychedelic side, and the THC is all removed, and the certificate analysis assures that it's undetectable in the products. And so that's the CBD tincture right there.
Mhm.
And so it has to do with improved nerve transmission again,
Okay.
and also mood and those kind of things. That is real interesting to, you know, and I know you spent some time today working on someone who had a rough idol and trying to learn more about it. What did you learn today?
Well, and the only thing I can think of is, as you said, nerve transmission, and you need those hormones, enzymes, these little chemicals in minute amounts to make the connection, as you said, to allow the nerve, the information that's being passed to go smoothly from one nerve cell to the other. And as we've spoken about, we have heavy metal accumulation from the air, the water, the foods we eat. So then those heavy metals, they usually go and sit on those receptor, you know, points. And so the other chemicals in our brains that's supposed to then allow transmission, they're not, I guess they're lightweight and, compared to the heavy metals. So then they're dislodged. So they're not able to do what they're supposed to do. So then the message never gets sent, and you're, as you said, it's like you're, you have your foot on the accelerator all the time, but there's no taking off the brakes. So then there's no transmission. That's my
Beautiful.
information.
And that's huge. I think that even makes me think of why I fell in love so much with the V Plus system. Because our V Plus actually, once again, it has that adaptogenic. It's calming things down, it's bringing things into balance. It's even great for the immune system. I mean, I kind of thought it was an Ayurvedic medicinal type heaven, right? Looking at just the ingredients of the V Plus. And then when you look at the Regen X and how that helps with the whole fountain of youth, I'm just super psyched because it's nothing but limitless possibilities of just kind of the fountain of youth and bodies just getting put back together. And I'm psyched because even with the research of how the Regen X will support the body in producing HGH and other things that support the system, to me, I just keep thinking the fountain of youth.
I like it. Attributes of a younger Sister Grace, attributes of a younger Sister Aziz. And as you reach out to people, all of us want to have attributes of younger organisms, right?
Right.
That's what we're about here.
Yeah, marry youth and wisdom, right?
Yeah, that's that's true. So I'm
So
a little
that,
nervous because you girls are going to watch me go from 70 to 90 over the next 20 years, and I want to do it as gracefully as I can.
well,
I think you will.
keep taking your V Plus, your Daily Detox Plus, your Restore, your CBD, and make sure you slap that Regen X, behind the ears, behind the knees, elbows. You'll be fine.
I'm listening. Just keep after me.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. But I think that's the best part, right? We get a chance to help each other with our accountability and live in our best life. And as opposed to doing what so many people do, which is get caught up with accepting mediocrity. Disease, despair, and discomfort should not be our reality. I'm not too keen and concerned about what a piece of paper might say about a diagnosis. But as long as we can wipe out the symptoms, hey, hey, and get to the root cause of letting the body do what it's designed to do, healing and repairing and restoring itself.
I really like something that you said there, and I've thought it before and never really heard somebody put it in words before. But if your business is doing the right thing, doing the healthy thing, representing healthy products, aren't you a lot more likely to do it yourself? Your compliance, because you are involved in it, encouraging others to do it, is going to go up. And it's good for me to hear you say that, because it kind of reinforces some thoughts that I've been thinking, and I like that. I think we should say that more often.
That's literally how I strive to live. So, from the perspective of just how bad off my system was 20 years ago, the joke is I wouldn't be here unless I start figuring out how to put myself back together again. And so, as people saw me putting myself back together again, I was kind of like Humpty Dumpty, right? They're like, "Whoa, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't do it, so you're on to something, girl." So can you help with this person? Can you help with that person? So that led me into farming and doing different medicinals and do all these different things. But the joke is that the underlying stuff is what we now have through this with Daily Detox Plus, taking out the bad, Restore, putting in the good, the CBD oil, as well as so that way you're getting a chance to do internally as well as externally with the relief cream, having the dream to support your sleep because sleep is when your body heals and restores itself.
Hmm.
So if we're not getting 6+ good hours of deep restorative sleep, we can hang it up. So it's been nothing but a delight. And then the Region X helping, and then even with the skincare stuff. I mean, I'm sitting here really, really happy that this business pays well because then I don't have to worry about how much of it I'm lathering on and using. So I always tell everybody, look at launching a wholesale account because it's way better than Costco's wholesale account. They give like I think 1%. You can get way more than that here and still be able to do what we did, right?
Right.
Get more and more of the product on yourself and yourself.
And I want to thank you. You and your when you mentioned about the Regionex, I didn't know that it had MSM in it. Like, okay, I can then work on rebuilding my own MSM instead of using external MSM.
Well, I'm learning along with you. It's a pleasure to work with your teams and you, and it's been, we're getting to know each other really well now, and we're doing important things together.
Yes,
So let's keep going.
indeed, indeed. So just get back to the person that shared this with you. Let's keep diving and digging in deeper, and let's definitely throw away a scarcity mindset and instead embrace an abundance mindset.
Thank you.